This is an orange chicken recipe that I have modified from recipes that I found on the internet just to be a little bit healthier, a little bit lower calorie, but just as delicious. I find that if you have a really flavorful sauce, you don't need all the fried parts. It still is delicious if you just saute, and you can add a lot more vegetables in and get some volume and some really good for you vegetables, and it's still really delicious. Another great way to get an additional vegetable in is with cauliflower rice, and I will be having mine with at least some cauliflower rice, but I've also got some brown rice cooking in the background for my husband, who's not a big fan of the cauliflower rice, or you could even mix it together. This is a great way to get more vegetables, lower calories, and get a little volume if you're someone who needs a little bit more than the average serving of rice. And I wish I had some of my bone broth thawed. I would have made the rice with the bone broth just to get a little bit more collagen in there for my skin. I'll do another video and show you how I make my bone broth. It's really easy. Look down in the description for this full recipe. And right now, I'm going to start prepping some vegetables. These could be any vegetables you want. I happen to have some on hand that I'll be using, but really you could use anything you want, the more the merrier. Honestly, I don't get too fancy with my cutting. Or maybe I would for a special occasion, but you know, I just cut things into edible pieces and I don't worry too much else about it. All right, my veggies are chopped and now I'm going to saute them. All right, so I added my carrots and celery to some olive oil and a little sesame oil for flavor. And once these are cooked a little bit, I will throw in the zucchini and the bell pepper. And I want these to be not so much al dente, but not so cooked because they're gonna cook down in the sauce a little bit. So I don't want them to get all mushy. So I don't wanna overcook them at this point. And there's the zucchini and the bell peppers. All right, I said this was going to be an honest fitness journey, so I'll tell you, I'm having a little cocktail while I'm cooking. This is a little bit of gin and a little bit of cranberry juice, and you have to account for these calories. Alcohol calories really, really add up. So today I went for an hour walk, so I earned my little cocktail. Cheers! All right, I'm going to start prepping the ingredients for the sauce. I just love orange. It's so delicious. So it's the zest of 2 oranges and the juice of 2 oranges. I love this little microplaner, a little zester. I've had fancy ones with stands and all this stuff. I just love this one. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it below. When you're zesting, you don't want to get too much of the white. You just want to get that colored part of the skin. And it just makes such a difference in foods. Love zest. And now for some ginger. You don't need to peel your ginger to zest it. You can just do this. And I'm using the same zester or microplaner, whatever you call it. And I do like to use fresh food as much as possible. There's so many benefits from fresh food. Plus you get a little arm workout. Garlic, again, I like to use fresh. Oops, that's a little too much there. I don't bother with any kind of fancy peeler. I just cut the ends off and then I just hit it with the back of the knife. And the skin peels right off. This little guy, love it. It's a garlic crusher. I'm not going to bother trying to chop this fine. No, thank you. I just squeeze it through this little guy. Voila. When you use fresh, you get all those amazing benefits. Benefits that some of which we've described, many of which I think we don't even know. All right, my veggies are done, and they're not real, they're not soft cooked. And I'm judging by the carrot, which is perfect. It's still got a little body to it. So I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to start my chicken cooking, and then I'll come back to the sauce. All right, so I have my chicken thighs cooking. This is 4 chicken thighs. You could use chicken breast. These were on sale, so I bought these, and I was about to start cutting off the fat, but honestly, I mean, there's a couple pieces maybe I could get now, but when I went to cut it off, it really wasn't that thick, so I just left it on. Speaking of fat, I'm cooking this in the same 2 tablespoons of oil that I used for the vegetables. I did not wipe the pan out. I'm just cooking the chicken right in it because I want all the flavors to kind of accumulate. And I like to use cast iron or stainless steel. Those are my pans of choice because they have, you know, less chemicals and all of that stuff. Okay, back to the sauce. I'm going to juice my oranges. And I could use one of these, which I often do, like for lemons especially, but for oranges and larger fruits, we love this juicer. I will link it below. It is fast, it is easy. I originally got it to reduce plastics, but we have been so enjoying the fresh juice. You want to impress a guest? Juice them some fresh orange juice or grapefruit juice. Okay, my chicken is done. In many recipes, this will call for a breaded chicken. You know, you coat it in egg and flour and then you fry it. And yes, that's delicious. But this is also going to be delicious, and it's going to save hundreds of calories by omitting all that breading and frying in more oil. Yes, this is fried in oil, but overall, the whole recipe is only using about 2 tablespoons of oil. Okay, my brown rice is done. And I've got some riced cauliflower going, and this is just in a little bit of chicken broth. Again, I wish I had some of my homemade bone broth, but that works, and a little salt and pepper. If you wanted this to be really good, you put some butter in it. Okay, I'm going to deglaze the pan with some orange juice. Start adding in some other ingredients, saving the zest for a little bit later. I'm going to put in a little bit of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons. Many recipes would call for a lot more, but I don't think it's needed. Maybe I'll put in a little, just a little touch. Cut down on the sugar, you probably won't miss it. A tablespoon of cornstarch to thicken. Okay, and I'm just going to put everything in the sauce. Honestly, you could double the sauce too, by the way. And I thought, why not set the table? Look how easy this centerpiece is. This is a glass bowl with some rocks in it and some water and a leaf of flour, a little flour, and a stick. This could be any combination of things. Just float a few things in some water and it's so beautiful. You can put, you know, this guy's sticking out of the water, but he wouldn't have to. You could let them flow freely, petals, all kinds of things. Just floating is such an easy and beautiful way to make a centerpiece. Okay, and there it is. Delicious, healthy meal. Mine is mostly cauliflower rice with a little bit of brown rice and then the veggie and chicken. Yum, yum, yum. And my husband got the brown rice only.